see, as you said, it does appear that people just up and left, leaving everything behind them.
The town where you are now has been renamed Khan Kendi. It used to be known as Stepanakert, of course. And that's happening to other areas within the Karabakh region. The Azeris are renaming all these different towns now.
Yes, so the context of this is 30 years ago when Armenian forces came in, they renamed all of these areas with Armenian names. This used to be known as Khan Kendi. Other places like Khojale and Kalbajar were also named with Azerbaijani names, but they were changed once Armenian forces took control of these areas and a self-declared state came into place. But now Azerbaijanis have come into administrative control. Mm-hmm. We've also been seeing ambulances to make sure that there is some sort of relief for people. We met the ICRC, we asked them, and they said that it is going to help them to ensure that the people who are left behind have some essential services available. The electricity, as you can see, the lights are still running.
Right.
The water is still running, although aid workers tell us that they can't be sure of the people who used to run the water supply are no longer here. And behind us is now the vehicle is left is where the Russian peacekeepers were stationed, because this was a staging point where people were gathering and leaving. But this is what a city without people looks like. It is scenes that we have never seen before, where such a huge mass of population got up and left, leaving all that they could leave behind with them and just taking their memories and all they could pack on their cars with them.
A city without people, you say, Osama. What does the Azerbaijani government and the authorities there, what are they planning on doing with this city and this region now that the entire population, it would seem, has left?
Well, what has been happening here is a lot of development. As you know, that there was a war in 2020 where a lot of this area was taken over by Azerbaijani officials. So on the way here, as we came here 3 years ago, and there were hardly any roads, there were hardly any streets that were properly built. But on the way to Khan Kendi in Shusha and other areas, there have been a lot of development in this area. So Azerbaijan says that it is going to build infrastructure. And that is why officials who we've been speaking to have been telling us that they would like people to stay. They would want people to stay. They wanted them to be part of what is going to be a rebuilding of this area, a massive investment in this area is what they call it. But again, it is going to be an Azerbaijani version of it. Yes, there are 120,000 people who've left from this area, but those officials tell us that this is an area which was home to more than 1 million Azerbaijanis who had to leave their homes 30 years ago. So now they're going to make preparations for them to come back. And all those people from the ethnic Armenian community who remain here are going to live side by side with them as Azerbaijani citizens.
Now, you saw the UN mission that's made its way to the Karabakh region. Tell us about what they're there to do exactly. What is their mission?
The United Nations has been allowed access, according to the Azerbaijani Foreign Ministry, after 3 decades in this area because they wanted to show the United Nations what Azerbaijan calls occupation, destruction, and illegal settlement building. And the UN mission has been here to assess what Azerbaijan wanted to show them and also assess the needs of the people on the ground. We saw them leave this area, so I'm not sure how much assessment they were able to do on the ground themselves, but we've been speaking to aid workers who've been here. But again, because there are not that many people left, so assessing the humanitarian need of a non-existent population seems like a futile task. So we will wait to hear from what the UN mission found, what they saw, what they plan to do with this area. But Azerbaijan says that it is adamant to allow whoever wants to come here and see for themselves that this is an area which is open for people to live, and it is going to be secure, at least for now, because the conflict has ended and Azerbaijani forces are going to be in control of not just the border of the city of Khan Kendi and the Nagorno-Karabakh region, but also all the way to the Lachin corridor and the border with Armenia as well. We did hear some reports earlier in the day from witnesses who described scenes and accused Azerbaijani forces of excesses and forced displacement. But everyone we've spoken to here in this city, including the ICRC workers, they tell us they have found no real cases where people were actually forced out of their homes or had to face any abuse or trampling on their rights by these forces. But again, this is early days. We're the only crew which are here. Apart from horses and dogs and a few Armenians who are packing their things and getting ready to leave, there's nobody here.
Nobody there. If you're just joining